Hey everyone, welcome back to GameSpot's opinion editorial show Reboot. I'm Mike Mahardy.
I'm Jake.
And today we're going to be talking about where Mass Effect Andromeda, or Mass Effect in general, goes next. If you haven't watched it yet, our last episode of the show was about science fiction storytelling and how Mass Effect Andromeda didn't really deliver on its potential that we were hoping. But you can go watch that. This is our off-week episode, and we wanted to, I kind of wanted to give Jake the chance to lay out his opinion of the game, and we'll tease our next episode, as usual. So we're just going to jump right into Q&A. We had a few questions. As always, get your YouTube comments, your tweets in. They help us out a lot. We pissed people off with this episode.
I'd say a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a little more
We got some
divisive.
good response, too, though.
Yeah, for sure. People were agreeing, but then there are people that like this game a lot. I do like parts of this game, but I think overall I was a little more negative on it. I think you're kind of split. But yeah, so we'll get right into the questions. We have I'll have Jake read the second one, but I'll read the first one right now. This is from Ray on YouTube, and he said, "Why do you think story-based games these days lack really good story? They have time to make multiplayer or include microtransactions in their games, but they can't be bothered to make the story in a game a priority." I don't necessarily agree with that. I think game stories are actually getting better the more we play them, or the more developers make them. I think they're kind of realizing how you can find your own stories in games, which we talked about in the Zelda episode, the second episode of Reboot. But, games like the immersive sims that Arcane is working on between Prey, the upcoming Prey, hopefully, I hope they do it. But Dishonored 2, Elder Scrolls games, Fallout games, I think they tell interesting stories that can only be told in games, and that you're finding your own stories, and you're coming in with these water cooler moments the next days with your friends or your coworkers, and you're saying, oh, this happened, and it was awesome because it meant something to me. It might not have meant the same thing to you, but I mean, there are linear stories that developers are telling. I mean, I know The Last of Us is one of your favorite games. I think that's one of the better stories there is, and that's more cinematic.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of story in games, like, it's kind of like movies, right? Like, some are going to be good, some are going to be bad. And I think, like what you were saying, that game developers are getting better at figuring out how to tell good stories. However, with Mass Effect Andromeda, I didn't really want a story where you kind of like find your own adventure or you explore a world. I wanted a tight story, not tight in a sense as linear, but like a story that branches off different actions, consequences. However, what we got, the story was pretty weak, which is not what you want with a BioWare game. That is the one thing, not the one thing, but that is so important for a BioWare experience, to have that story. And when that's not there, it just falls so short of expectations just right away.
Yeah, and I also wanted to give you the chance, and I kind of wanted to ask the question, where you think Mass Effect could go next, whether they do new Andromedas or whether they do a prequel like you had mentioned, and like a lot of people were hoping. I don't know. What do you want to see? I mean, we ended the episode on a hopeful note, right? Like hoping BioWare Montreal can pull it together and maybe expand on the potential that Andromeda had, but I think it kind of disappointed, so where does it go from here?
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about the Mass Effect series is they can literally go anywhere. There are millions of stories to tell. Like, you could potentially tell like any kind of story you want in that universe, which I think is awesome. So I think there's definitely room for improvement and room for another story that's even better, that's hopefully a lot better. In terms of where they go, I kind of don't really want to see Andromeda again, just because that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
However, I think races and 6 planets.
Yeah, I think they can do better in Andromeda. However, what I'd really want to see, and I know this isn't new, people have been wanting this for a while, but I think it would be really cool to get a prologue of the First Contact War, when you first meet the Turians and when you first kind of figure out, or you learn that there's this whole galactic civilization just above Earth.
Yeah, I mean, when they discover the mass relays, that'd be a really cool first contact story that we haven't seen before. Rather than aliens coming to Earth, it would still be like discovering there's not just one new alien species, but there's a ton of them that have already bonded together in this political environment, but also like have kind of learned to adapt to each other.
Yeah, and kind of in Mass Effect 1, you try to prove humanity's worth to an extent, but you've already established that humanity's there, and it would be really cool to just establish, like, just try to prove yourself in general.
Yeah. Definitely. The next question I will leave to Jake. It's more on the technical side of things.
Oh, this one was from Jed Barber. He said, "Was the blue and red Paragon Renegade lights on your face on purpose for this video, or is that how your face always looks in Reboot?"
In real life? Yeah, my face is always lit on both sides, one red, one blue. You can see my face in 3D.
No, actually, with Reboot, we're trying to, I don't know, just kind of play around with different cinematic techniques for for each episode. And this one, it just seemed to make sense to do red, blue, Paragon, Renegade. We were trying to match an image of the elusive man that we had found online, which we got kind of close. I think we were missing some lighting in your face, but yeah, each episode should have its own unique style, hopefully.
Lee Travis on Twitter also pointed out that it kind of looks like the lighting of Beyonce from the VMAs.
Yeah,
in 2016.
Yeah. Which
And
I hadn't seen that, so
I could be compared to worse people, so I'm not. Or
It's
you
true.
your techniques could be compared to worse things than MTV, I guess.
I don't know.
All right. Last comment, and as good a time as any to tease our next episode. This is from Louis LaPalme on YouTube. Hey, Mike, could you please do Persona 5? Very succinct, very to the point. Yeah, we're doing Persona 5 for the next episode. By the time this Reboot 3.5 goes up, I will have been playing for who knows how many hours. It's my first Persona game, so I'm also lending that perspective to the opinion. Jake, you played 4, and you're looking forward to 5. The time this publishes, you might have started playing 5 by now.
Hopefully.
But mainly how Persona 5, we're both big JRPG fans, how Persona 5 subverts JRPG tropes, both in its combat and its characters and its story and its structure. We're going to get into that and take a deeper look at that. And I'm really excited because the more I play this game, the more it's surprising me. Not just because it's my first Persona game, but because of how they're setting up these expectations of a JRPG and of this story, this high school story, and how they're actually toying with that. And I really like that. Some of my favorite games do that, and Persona 5 is on its way to being one of my favorite games this year so far.
Yeah, I'm excited to take a deeper look into that and play it.
Yeah, as always, it helps so much when you get these YouTube questions and these comments, these Twitter mentions. We love that. This is what this whole off-week episode is about. And it helps us keep doing the show, which we love doing. And obviously, as always, if you don't subscribe to GameSpot, please do so. It'll help us and all our coworkers keep making these really fun shows. And until then, we will see you next week when we talk about Persona 5.
See ya.